Exclusive on how and why possessing stolen goods can cause trouble in this country. Today on the news at 5.
Morning.
Morning.
Nice day out. You ought to take advantage of it. Pretty soon the leaves are going to be all brown and ugly.
I think I'm going to stay inside.
You know, I came down this morning, I thought I'd see a big banner stretched across the living room saying, "Farewell, Steve. Good luck on your next job."
Why would you expect that?
Well, last night you seemed to think that we had rounded up and got rid of all these assassins. So I thought the best thing to do is to get rid of me.
Are you that anxious to leave?
Well, I do seem to be a bit of excess baggage.
I still need you, Steve. I don't want you to leave.
Paige, no one's trying to hurt you anymore.
I know my life is still in danger.
Paige, you've had a lot of pressure on you for a long time. It's going to take a while before you can feel completely secure.
I am not imagining any danger. It's real. I know that there's someone trying to kill me. There's one more member of the gang who won't stop till he sees me dead. So that makes for one more assassination.
Now, how do you know that?
I just know it, that's all.
Oh, I see. Did you just remember another name suddenly?
Look, I am telling you, I still need a bodyguard. Is that enough?
Paige, I'm not going to follow you around protecting you from shadows. Now, how the hell do you know there's somebody else out there still trying to hurt you?
Well, if you must know, Tobias told me.
The Edge of Night is brought to you by Lipton Flavored Teas. Spice up your life with Lipton Flavored Teas. In tea bags.
Want a little spice in your life? Well, I got it with Lipton's Flavored Teas. With orange and spice, I feel I'm in a tropical paradise. Lipton's mint flavor really refreshes me. Lemon and spice cheers me up. Lipton cinnamon makes me feel slightly devilish. And Lipton black rum flavor whisks me down to the islands. Try them hot or iced.
Spice up your life with Lipton flavored teas in tea bags.
How do we make it better than we have to?
Here's to you, Ocean Spray.
How do we make it better than we have to?
Ocean Spray has always meant quality, like Cran Grape, the grape cranberry drink. We make it with sweet grapes and tangy cranberries. We won't make it with artificial preservatives, flavorings, or colorings. Ocean Spray Cran Grape.
We make it a little better than we have to. Here's to you, Ocean Spray!
So, you've been in touch with Tobias, huh? Tell me, how did he contact you? Telephone, or did he send another one of his henchmen out like Jed?
He told me himself, and he wasn't lying.
Oh, no, of course not. Tobias is only a swindler, a gun runner, accessory to murder. Lying might be just a little bit too much for him.
You're just going to have to take my word for it, Steve. Now, I thought I was safe, too.
Paige, 4 people have died. Jed is in intensive care, and the 3 men you fingered for Logan Swift are somewhere in South America hiding from the police.
Well, there's another one. I didn't even know he existed until Toby told me.
All right. Then tell me about him.
His name is Zach.
Zach what?
I don't know his last name, and I can't give you a full description. He's kind of tall. He's got dark brown hair. He's about 26 or 27, and he's been spotted in Monticello.
According to Tobias.
Well, don't you believe me?
No, I don't believe Tobias. Paige, the police are aware that your friend is in the vicinity. Now, why shouldn't he lie and throw them off his track?
Because he is trying to keep me safe.
All right. How did you make contact with him?
That's not important. I just did.
I mean, was it over the phone or did you meet him in person?
I think we should concentrate on Zach.
Paige, during the past week, you have only been in this house, at the hospital, with me, visiting Calvin, and the Unicorn, when Brian took you down there to pick up your mother.
I just don't want to discuss this anymore.
Paige, you can't go on protecting Tobias. Now, he's a fugitive from justice. Look, if Logan finds out you're withholding information, you could be indicted for aiding a wanted criminal.
Toby is not a criminal.
I see. Well, we'll just leave that up to the courts.
Look, he is my friend. Look what he did for Louise. Look, he is trying to help me. If he was trying to hurt me, why would he warn me against Zach?
I just don't trust him.
I know. Will you stay?
Yes, of course I'll stay as long as you need me. You know that.
That pounding on my door.
May I come in?
Oh, anything, if you'll just stop the noise.
Yeah, all right. How are we feeling this morning?
We feel as if we wished we were dead. Maybe we are.
Oh, I can assure you, you're alive. Alive and hungover.
I know. A little bird was singing on my windowsill. Sounded like a bull elephant.
Really tied one on last night, didn't you?
I'm very ashamed of myself, Owen. I really am.
Well, you usually are, darling. And I know that you think that you had a real good reason for being drunk last night, too.
Well, it did hurt me what you said about nobody wanting to see a Nola Patterson movie anymore.
I didn't mean it the way it sounded.
Of course you did, Owen. It's what you think, what everyone thinks. And I suppose you're right. That's what really hurt, hearing the truth.
Nola, you didn't hear the whole conversation. I mean, what I meant was, who wants to see Nola Patterson in a movie like that? I mean, what is it, Mansion of the Damned?
Well, why not, if it's good enough?
Nola, it is a grade B horror flick. Now, you know that. I mean, that's all there is to it. I don't care what Eddie says about quality. That picture is what it is.
But if it were done well, Owen...
You haven't really read the script, have you?
I skimmed it just to see what the leading character was all about.
All right, well, I want you to read it again, okay? I want you to read it thoroughly, all right? Now, look, Nola, I want you to work again. And you know that. And I agree with Eddie that that'd be the best thing for you. And I still think you're an actress, and a damn good one, too.
No, Owen. If I were an actress, I'd be acting. Right now, I'm just a woman who lies around all day thinking up ways to obliterate the hours. And you know my favorite way.
Yes, I know. Well, I guess this picture isn't really hopeless. I mean, there are some interesting things about it, you know. I don't mean the supernatural nonsense, but the human emotions, the rage that woman feels. I mean, if that could be dramatized more.
We could do that, Owen. We could show how deeply she feels about losing her lover.
Yeah, but the only way we're going to sell this thing is from the exploitation angle. You know, all those gory special effects that the audiences seem to love so much these days.
Well, of course, you know much more about those things than I do.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you another thing. We are not going back to Hollywood to film this thing. Now, there must be some way that we can produce this thing locally.
Oh, darling, why not? An Owen Madison production filmed entirely in Monticello. You could make this provincial paradise into the film capital of the Midwest.
Listen, you can make films anywhere as long as you have the facilities and the people.
Owen, are you serious? You really will consider it?
Well, I'll talk it over with Eddie again. And if it's feasible, well, maybe we can take a chance on it.
Get a little closer. Now don't be shy. You can get a little closer with Arid Extra Dry.
Only Arid has this patent on an aluminum chlorhydrate formula. It fights wetness, and no leading deodorant spray stops odor better.
Get a little closer with
to dry.
Arid fights wetness. No leading deodorant spray stops odor better.
Introducing a whole new Pillsbury Plus. It's everything you ever wanted in a cake. Plus,
it's even moister than before.
Plus, now it's even better tasting.
it was hard to make a great cake better, but Pillsbury Plus did, with a unique pudding blend for more moistness.
Plus, it sure tastes delicious.
New Pillsbury Plus.
New Pillsbury Plus. Everything you ever wanted in a cake.
Plus.
I knew he wanted someone to talk to and needed someone to talk to, but I was limited as to what I could do for him.
Headache case book 301. Catherine Perkins needs strong pain relief, but is bothered by aspirin stomach upset. Recommendation, Bufferin for strength. The strength doctors specify more than any other for tension headache. Yet it adds so much stomach upset protection, many can take it instead of Tylenol.
You just feel the relief.
Recommendation, Bufferin, strength with protection.
Wednesday, Hal Linden steps out of the 12th precinct and into his own special with Alice Linda Lavin, Bonnie Franklin from One Day at a Time, and Soap's Catherine Damon. It's a look at TV from the inside out.
It's a commercial. 100 million people will see my face.
Take 32. Puff, puff, puff. I'm seeing too much of her face. Lift the bottle, Skipper.
Higher. Oh, perfecto.
The Hal Linden Special.
Well, if I may say so, I think that was the worst breakfast we've ever had since we've been married.
I thought the French toast was fine.
I wasn't talking about the food, Draper, and you know it. I feel like a couple from Citizen Kane sitting at opposite ends of the table having absolutely nothing to say to one another.
I just wanted to read the newspaper this morning.
And you completely ignored any attempt I made at conversation.
I wasn't in a very talkative mood.
Draper, do you intend on giving me this every morning? Do you intend on giving me the silent treatment at dinner, too? I know, maybe I should get a parakeet or some kind of bird, teach him how to say good morning, April, and good night, April, since I'm not going to be hearing it from you.
April, you're being ridiculous.
Draper, we are husband and wife, and communication is very important in a marriage.
I have nothing to say.
But just because you don't feel like talking doesn't mean there isn't anything on your mind.
You know what's on my mind.
Well? Damn that Mrs. Spinner.
Now, don't blame the real estate lady, April. The only reason she came here was to help us turn a profit on this house. Now, I think you're missing the point. If you and Margot hadn't lied to me about this, none of it would have happened.
Draper, and I told you Margot was just trying to be generous. There is no crime in that.
I always had trouble believing this place cost $65,000. Mrs. Fenner offered me $125,000. I knew something was wrong.
Draper, Margot was only trying to help us. We both have the pleasure of living in this house.
This is not my home. With what the bank owns and with what Margot put into it, my contribution is completely insignificant.
Oh, Draper, I'm really sorry you feel that way. Because this is our home.
Damn Brooks. He was unethical telling us this place cost only $65,000.
Draper, don't blame it on Mr. Brooks. He had nothing to do with it. Margot knew you wouldn't accept a gift like this.
And you knew it too, April. Well, that's what hurts me. You knew how I'd feel about this, yet you went right ahead and conspired with Margot behind my back.
Draper, look, I suppose I did get carried away in the thought of owning our own home. Draper, I admit that I made a mistake.
I'm going to pay her back, April. I don't care how long it takes or how hard I have to work. She's going to get every penny with interest.
Fine, fine. If that's what we have to do to make you feel better about this whole thing, then that's exactly what we will do.
Isn't it time for you to leave?
Look, Draper, all this business about the house is all out in the open. Can we now just forget about it and go on with our lives?
I can't help the way I feel.
How about the way I feel? How about the way you're trying to make me feel? Draper, ever since you found out the truth about this house, you've been treating me with total indifference.
Well, what do you expect me to do?
Well, for one thing, I'd like you to explain why
You refused to watch the 11 o'clock news with me last night.
I was tired.
You were tired? Draper, you know darn well that the interview with Miles was aired last night, and you also know how important it was to me for you to see it.
Sure you did fine.
Well, you, tired now?
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, MON does have a morning television news show, and they are repeating the interview with Miles.
All right. Turn it on.
By the way, do you know that Brian Madison is working at MON now? He was the cameraman. To the best of your knowledge, Doctor, then you were simply selected by this intruder at random?
Yeah, it must have been my lucky day. I was working late here in the office, and I heard a knock on the door, and I went to answer, and I was confronted by this man in a ski mask carrying a gun.
Well, what happened then?
He told me to get my little black bag. We were going to make a house call.
And this is when he drove you to that deserted warehouse?
Yes, and when we got there, it became apparent why he had to get a doctor the way he did. There was a young woman there with a very severe bullet wound, and taking her to a hospital would have attracted the police.
Did this masked person at any time identify himself to you?
Not until the wounded woman gave him away. He's the man they call Tobias.
Once again there's a feeling inside of me, nothing new. I felt it before.
There's a Hilton waiting somewhere along the way.
Cause there's places that I've never been to, sunsets to be ridden into. Not a lot I can do but give in to the drifter in me.
When there's a drifter in you, there's no place like Hilton.
There's no place like Hilton.
Come on in. Take an extra close look at an extra special French fry. Deep fries from Heinz. Made with an important extra step. After deep frying them, we spray them with a little vegetable oil. So in your oven, they fry still more. That's how they get their extra golden color. Those extra crispy edges. That extra special deep fried taste. So for extra crispness and deep fried taste, get the fries with the extra step. Deep fries from Heinz.
Oh, well, hello there. I'm Edwin Sanchez, and I have a very important announcement for all of you Halfurdish friends. If you or a loved one is between the ages of 50 or 74, right now could be the perfect time to make a phone call to 1-800-578-3491, the phone number for the Uplifton Trustee Life Insurance. One of the most very known plans in Halford. The one that can help you and change you and your family's life without having to worry too much about life and funeral costs. Have you ever thought about that plan before you or a loved one dies? Well, why don't you call for free information? Remember, it's 1-800-578-3491. The information is free, I can tell you that.
Give us a call at 1-800-578-3491 for free information on the Uplifton Trustee Life Insurance Plan, as Edwin has explained previously. You can also visit our Uplifton offices in any of the locations listed here. We have many people who speak your language, even if it is not one of the languages listed here as well. Uplifton Trustee. We are uplifting friends that you can trust for life.
ABC's World News Tonight. From Washington, D.C., Frank Reynolds covers our nation's capital. From Chicago, Max Robinson on the day's domestic news from the heartland of America. From London, Peter Jennings with reports on the foreign stories that affect us by a man who is always there. And Barbara Walters with the special insights and interviews that only she can do. Fast becoming the most watchable news on television. ABC's World News Tonight.
It's true, isn't it? That
You know, with a little bit of experience, you're going to be anchoring the evening news.
Really thinks by this woman.
Yeah, I was called over there by a friend of mine, a young man who's acting as Paige Madison's bodyguard.
Steve Guthrie.
Yes. It was during that incident that this woman, one they call Louise, was shot. And I should add that I don't believe the wound would have been fatal if she had gotten the proper treatment in time.
Oh, I see. Then what you're saying was that it was neglect that killed this woman and not Paige Madison.
Yes, I'd say that's correct.
Well, doctor, tell me, how did you feel when you were brought to the warehouse and told that you were going to have to operate?
What do you mean, how did I was scared. I mean, a masked man with a gun does not exactly put you at your ease. I was even more scared for my patient when I saw her because it looked like there was very little I could do to save her.
But you did operate.
I didn't have any choice. I had a gun being pointed at my head, and this man, Tobias, didn't look like he wanted any arguments from me.
It must have been a terrible experience for you.
Yes, it got worse because removing the bullet, you know, did not stop the infection. And the woman's high fever made her delirious, and later she tried to get off the bed and hemorrhaged apparently and collapsed.
And she died?
Yes.
Well, what happened then?
Well, this Tobias seemed stunned for a moment. I thought I'd better take advantage of it, and I left the room as quickly as I could, slamming the door behind me.
He followed you?
I didn't look back over my shoulder. I just ran as fast as I could, and I hoped that he would not stop me. Apparently he tried, though. I heard a couple of shots in back of me as I disappeared into the woods.
Well, how did you manage to get home?
Through an ordeal.
Well, I made it to a main road, and I hailed a ride back to Monticello, and I notified the police.
And the police then did locate the abandoned warehouse, and they found the body of this dead woman, but Tobias was nowhere to be found?
That's right.
Well, Dr. Kavanaugh, during the time you were held captive, Tobias made one specific quote of interest. Could you tell us what that was?
Well, he said that the attempts on Paige Madison's life were not his doing, that certain members of his group were going against his orders, and that he had come back to Monticello to try to stop any more assassination attempts.
I see. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Kavanaugh. At this very moment, an intensive search is being made for the man known only as Tobias, and according to police, at this time there isn't a single clue as to his whereabouts or his identity. This is April Scott for WMON News.
Unicorn.
Is this the bartender?
You got him.
Tell me.
Can I ask who's calling, please?
Paige.
Oh, hi. Sorry if I sounded a little cautious, but most people know me as Mickey. Try to remember that.
Yeah, I know you have to be careful. When I saw you behind that bar at the club last night, I could have died.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing you didn't. The last thing I want to do is attract attention.
I can't tell you how much knowing you're in Monticello means to me. I know what a risk it is for you to even be here and try to help me.
Look, Paige, I promised you a long time ago that nothing was going to hurt you. I meant that.
I know you did. And I don't blame you for anything that's happened.
No, I just botched the whole thing is all I did. I still don't know where we went wrong. I'd like to know who tipped the Mexican police.
I've got to see you and talk to you about it. And about what else has happened.
Yeah, I got to talk to you too, but our next meeting's going to have to be arranged very carefully. You still have your bodyguard, I guess.
Well, yeah, after what you told me about Zach, I had to.
Yeah, well, he's the only one left, Paige, but he's mean. You're going to have to be really careful.
Well, then how are we going to arrange a meeting?
I think I know a way. From what I understand, Guthrie takes you out from time to time.
Yeah, usually when we make those plans, I end up getting shot at.
Yeah, well, you just get him to take you to the Unicorn tonight. Okay? You can do it.
Well, if Steve is with me, we won't be able to say a word. Oh, unless, of course, you're planning on tipping him off to our little secret.
No, you show up with your bodyguard. I'll take care of everything else.
Excuse me, why do you think the Volkswagen Rabbit is the best-selling car in Switzerland?
Well, you can see how well it drives. The Rabbit climbs the Alps something wonderful. Better even than a goat.
Anything else?
Yeah. It holds the whole family and the whole picnic because inside it's very, very big.
Oh, what's the biggest thing about it?
Fritz!
Volkswagen does it again.
Sambo's cuts the cost of going out for roast beef. Take Sambo's roast beef dinner. It's now only $2.95. Or Sambo's hot roast beef sandwich. A lot of beef for $1.95. And Sambo's French dip sandwich. We beefed it up, sliced it deli style. Still just $1.95. Cut the cost of going out for roast beef at Sambo's.
There's more to love on Ryan's Hope.
It's an emergency. Acute distress.
What?
I think he's starting convulsions. Hurry.
Roger knows what this could mean.
You may lose him. Call Faith. Hurry, get to the hospital. Now!
And on One Life to Live.
I leveled with you. I want you to level with me.
What do you mean?
I know that right now, I'm looking at Marco dead.
Marco is dead.
Prove it.
More to Love in the Afternoon.
Toby, I don't know if this trip to the Unicorn is such a good idea.
I thought you wanted to see me, Paige.
I do, but maybe we should wait till Zach is caught. That way I won't have Steve, and it'll be much easier to arrange a meeting.
No, Zach might bide his time. I want to see you right now, Paige.
Well, I'm thinking about your safety, too.
Don't worry about me. Besides, the Unicorn's the safest place for you. Zach wouldn't dare try anything if he knew I was around.
Steve will be suspicious if I even as much as say hello to you.
No, we just tell Steve that we met the night you came in to pick up your mother. Look, don't worry about it. Just be here, okay?
I'll do the best I can.
Okay, you call later. Make a reservation. I'll see you tonight.
Bye-bye.
You got here fast.
Yeah, like I said on the phone. I'm real thirsty. We alone?
Just you and me and the bottle.
Long time no see, Toby.
Yeah, I wish it could have been a while longer, Zach. Like forever.
Last time I saw you, Mexican border patrol was about 100 yards behind you and gaining.
Losing them was easy.
Yeah, from what I read, the cops are no closer on coming down to you now than that day that caper blew up in our faces. I don't know how you do it.
I play it smart, Zach. Here I'm just a bartender. Everybody tells me their troubles, but nobody hears my own.
The only description they have of you is with that ski mask on. That can't hurt.
Yeah, well, this fall I'm going to get a new one. That should confuse the hell out of them, huh? You're still free as a bird. Where you been keeping yourself?
Yeah, I like to stay mobile. Don't make any ties. Don't leave any loose ends.
Yeah, well, there's one loose end that's got to be taken care of, Zach. That's why I called you.
Yeah, I felt real bad when I heard about Louise.
Yeah, I figured. You and Louise were pretty close. How'd you like to finish what she started, Zach?
What are you talking about?
You still want to see that double-crossing rich girl dead, don't you?
Yeah, we all want that. But let's face it, Toby. She has an army on her side.
It's got to be done, man. You swore it. Louise swore it. We all swore it.
Well, everyone that's tried has either ended up dead or in a very unhealthy condition. Paige leads a charmed life.
Yeah? Well, our luck's run out. I'm gonna set her up for you tonight, Zach. Paige Madison's gonna come walking right into this joint. But she's never gonna come out.
Tonight, after Family, Charlie's Angels face terror in the sun-swept Caribbean on ABC.
invite you to join us each weekday for The Edge of Night.